Good evening, all. Good evening. Welcome to Midweek Mix-Up, episode 39. And this week we are honoured to have the sauciest podcast on the internet onto the channel. With both Gaz and Asa joining us this week. Absolute pleasure. We will start with our guest introductions. First of all, Asa, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Oh, I'm so good, but I've got no idea what I'm up to, what I've been up to, what I've been playing. Doing well. Really glad to be here. I've been playing some old games from the Saturn, some new VR games, and everything in between.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And second of all, Gaz, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Hey man, I've got a really bad hay fever, so I look like death today. I've been playing a lot of Knockout City because that game is just so good and underrated if no one's played it. And Mass Effect, the remaster. So yeah, we've been trying to play that, but this week is very busy because for obvious reasons. For E3. But thank you so much for the invite, man.
No, anytime, brother, anytime. It's great to have you both on. I'm looking forward to this one, most definitely. Let's get to the panel. First of all, Chris Grannell, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Very well, thank you. As always, good to be on, and obviously great to be on with Gaz and Asa, so looking forward to this one. Just been working, not been playing much, but when I've been playing stuff, it's been Knockout City, like Gaz, so... enjoying that. I think it's great fun. I haven't jumped into a game with Gaz, so I'll have to get saucy with him and get some games going. But yeah, other than that, I've just been working. I did a cheeky little Twitter Spaces last night, so Gaz invaded that as well. So it was a good chat with him on there.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Couple of characters jumped on, tried to pretend they were from America, but failed. They got the 2 minutes of fame, but that was it. But yeah, looking forward to this one. So yeah, let's do this.
Awesome stuff. Next up, Shomberlon, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Yeah, I'm good. Other than working, like always. What I've been playing, I completed Manhunter. Oh, is it Manhunter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the shark game. The shark game. Anyway, I did that in 2 sittings. I maxed that out. 1,000 gamer score, because why not? It's actually a good game. It's probably not worth the 15 hours I put into it, but it's still a pretty fun game.
It looks good as well, yeah.
It's silly fun. That's what I put it down to. Just a bit of. Normally, it's one of those games you could probably jump on for an hour or two between each sittings, but I just fancy playing something different. And I've just been playing a bit of PUBG with Patya and then another friend, a mutual friend of ours. So
Sweet. Any chicken dinners recently, or
3 over the course of about 5 days, which isn't great. It's one of those, just everything goes wrong all the time. You just can't get to a flow of things. None of this kind of 7 in a row that Pat was getting.
Well,
yeah, with Dutch, yeah.
Yep, we're absolutely tanking it like there. Next up, Erwin, brother, how you doing? What you been up to?
Yes, good to see the other guys on the show as well. Also nice to hear that I don't have the highest pitched voice on the show. So that's always good. Just a joke, guys. Good to have you guys on. Appreciate it. No, doing really well. Been at work a lot lately. Really busy at the moment, so didn't play any games at all this week. Besides some YouTube lessons on the Monday with Boxenberger, our panel member as well, together with Drew, which was very entertaining. Triggered the algorithms and actually paid off pretty well. So working on my video also today prior to the show. Gonna release a new video where I will be talking about the stuff behind me. But yeah, doing good, brother. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. And last but not least, Patya, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Well, work as usual. That's the normal thing, of course. But yeah, like Shom said, been playing some PUBG. Also some Man-Eater. I was pretty shocked that Shom just finished the game much earlier than me. He's been smashing the game, I guess. But yeah, I've been enjoying Man-Eater as well, so it's a pretty fun game to play. So
I've
yeah,
played a little bit of it so far. It's silly and fun, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah. And just before the podcast, I jumped into PUBG because today was the new update. So did a look on it, and it's pretty interesting what they are doing now. So
sweet, and obviously you'll be able to stream that a little bit on the weekend, no doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to do it before the podcast, but I ran out of time, so didn't have any time for it left. So for sure, problem. This weekend is gonna be streaming time.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. Brilliant. And we will get into the show today. So we'll start with some of the main topics, and then we'll get to the wild card, which is community wildest E3 dreams, as well as the wildest E3 dreams from both Gaz and Asa. So that should be entertaining to hear. First and foremost, of course, today, we'll get this on now so everybody can enjoy a little bit of Game Fest whilst we're chatting away. First and foremost, we had the news today that came out a little bit out of the blue. And of course, it was a little bit behind closed doors initially. That was the Game Pass update and the update from the Xbox executives regarding kind of the studio progress over the next few years from the 23 plus studios for Xbox Game Studios. So we will start at the beginning. Game Pass TV integration as well as potential sticks. We've spoken about this before, Chris, and I know we've all pretty much covered it months and months ago on what we think probably will end up happening, and it seems like it is coming to fruition. So Chris, what do you make of the eventual and kind of inevitable news that they are actually working on direct TV integration as well as kind of streaming sticks for TVs?
Yeah, so I think obviously we'd spoke about it, and I think majority of people saw it coming. I think it's a bold move. I think it's a strong move and a strong, flag in the ground of Xbox. I think what it does do is it kind of removes barriers to entry. So anyone who's kind of on the fence of buying a console or anything like that, or maybe is a PC player and doesn't want to kind of venture down that route, just happens to have an xCloud streaming Game Pass app on the TV as we move forward. So I think we're kind of inevitably moving towards an era, not anytime soon or the next few years or anything, but I think we'll inevitably move towards an era where hardware is not necessarily needed when we get kind of streaming fidelity and input lag and stuff right down. That could be like decades away, but I think we're moving in that direction, because if you're Sony or Xbox, why would you spend so much money on developing specific hardware when you can just pump your entertainment products or do a Netflix or Disney Plus or whatnot and start to acquire? And I think we spoke about this. This is one of the reasons why Xbox are acquiring studios left, right, and center. Yeah, it's so they can start to deliver on their kind of big hitter per quarter and stuff like that, or that's what the vision they want to try and reach. But ultimately, it's a bit of an arms race, and when we get to a period where dedicated hardware is not required and it's gaming as a service, so to speak, then you want as much as that talent on your service as possible, and I think they've got a great jump on it. Be interesting to see whether these TVs ship with a controller or you have to buy one, or what they're kind of going to do. Maybe they'll do something more with Samsung or LG with some of the partnerships that they've had in the past. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think it's a mega move by Xbox, and one that we saw coming.
Yeah, it's like you said, the partnerships that they've had kind of in the past. I think intentionally one of the kind of things there was these partnerships that they've made in the past with both LG and Samsung. No one really knew the full extent of that at first. First of all, they think it was just to kind of push the best kind of connection to the new consoles, etc. But then it went on to, of course, inevitably say that now they've been working with TV partners with regards direct integration of Game Pass onto the TVs without the need for a console. which also means, of course, then they can just add on the controllers to direct connect to these TVs as well, which at the moment is you can't really do, I don't think. Asa, Gaz, what's your thoughts on this direct integration news, as well as kind of sticks for streaming Game Pass?
Yeah, do you know, it's I think everybody foresaw it a long time ago before they were even hinting at it as like an obvious destination. What's really weird is that Sony did it a long time ago.
Yeah.
With PlayStation Now, and they put it on their TVs, and then they put it on all these other devices, and then they backtracked and shrunk that service down to just PlayStation and PC, despite the whole world seeing where it was going. So that's a bit odd. I mean, I've not used the Xbox streaming much. I used Stadia a little bit, and as an experience, I'm quite fussy, and I expect everyone here is quite fussy. And you'll look at things and go, "Oh, I don't like those compression artifacts. I don't like that tiny bit of latency." But I would actually think the majority of people would be quite happy playing games like that. So, so long as they include a controller in the box with your fancy TV, free trial of Game Pass, sure, it'll be massive for them one day.
Yeah, most definitely. Gaz, what do you think?
Sorry, I keep switching my mic off because I've got such bad hay fever. I don't want you to hear me sneeze and
sneezing all the time
and slobber onto tissues. I've got a mountain of tissues next to me. What Asa says is eventually, isn't it? And that's the key takeaway from this. It's the long-term ambition with this. This is really going to come to the fore when we see that the streaming tech get better, and that's going to be when it's really going to have a big value proposition. And even Microsoft were alluding to a longer-term strategy with this. So we saw it coming, but for it to be, it's on their mission statement now, and if you look at the wording they employed, they're taking it pretty seriously, which is quite interesting. Like Asa says, contrast that with Sony. I think a U-turn is in the works with Sony, though, on that front. If they see Microsoft, because essentially this is an extension to what a lot of people perceive as their Trojan horse, which is their console, right? So this is getting into the living rooms plus. So, and then Sony just cannot afford to let Microsoft have free reign of that. So they will reevaluate, I imagine. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Definitely. And of course, then you've got not only the built-in apps, but also the Amazon-like streaming sticks. Of course, trying to build some of them together. So that'll be interesting, whether or not that's an even better native solution to an app on a TV. Maybe, of course, they can kind of integrate that a little bit better. I don't know. Sean, what's your thoughts on the whole situation then? Obviously, it's positive news for Xbox because to them, they just want to see all of their studios put out the games to as many possible people as possible.
Yeah, I mean, as everyone said, I think every podcast in the world was predicting the stick and the dongle and things like that, and there's nothing new there. I do wonder who it's actually going to be aimed at, though.
The ultra casuals.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got
people that enjoy Netflix,
I suppose, but if you've got that already on your TV and things, are they really going to go out and buy a dongle unless it promises a better connection in some sort? But then you can hardwire your TV into the internet anyway, rather than going over Wi-Fi. So it does interest me to see where that's going to go. I think it's a good. I think it's as Phil Spencer said, and a lot of people said, it's no longer about selling consoles and being the number one, which I've never really bothered about. Anyway, I've been gaming since like the mid '80s, like Commodore 64, and I've had pretty much. I've been lucky enough to have pretty much every system growing up, so I've never had to deal with having to pick one. And they've just shown that they're not really bothered about whether PlayStation sell 100 million and they sell 60 or 70. That's no longer the gauge or the market for them, because this is going to be so much more profitable for them. And especially, and I've probably mentioned this more times than I probably should, when I was in China, just the mobile market there, how addicted they are to their mobile phones and things. I think this is right up their alleyway. If they can come up with a good price point. Now, they'll definitely have to figure out, they'll have to have probably their own Chinese version, just to comply with the government, and what games is available for them to download or stream, should I say. But in place like that, I think it's going to be massive. I think it really is going to be massive. Where it actually goes, because I know Marion, is it Marion? I think Marion's, he was saying that they don't even have proper
supporting his company.
Yeah.
I did see an update the other day, so saying that they are rolling out a lot of different kind of nations very shortly onto Xbox. I think it's in preview at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So it might be an update for them.
So it'll be interesting for Marion. There's I can't remember who it is now. Someone from Croatia
and Romania and places like that. Yeah.
The guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darth
the
something.
bald guy.
Yeah. He was complaining about the same. It's just that there's next to zero support. You know, the only way they can get stuff is not illegally, but pretending to be where they're not, which is never going to give you a decent connection anyway if you're having to use a VPN to get through something. But overall, I think it is positive. It's never going to overtake consoles. I don't ever see it, replacing the native systems. But as a strategy, I hope they go full tilt into it and they don't kind of wobble after a bit and then do what Sony did and then just slowly dial it back.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, to be fair, I don't think they will. I think their kind of idea and scale is far grander than that. And of course, to kind of back that up as well, they've also kind of released a statement besides that saying, no, listen, this doesn't mean the death of console. If anything, we've actually ramped up further on kind of our development processes of the next console generation, which is already deep underway. So they're already very much researching that, and they're very much going to be looking at releasing further console iterations. To them, of course, and I think a lot of people don't understand, is they want as many places to play as possible, and that includes console.
Yeah,
they want to have that choice for people, and that whether that be directly on a TV and no need for a console, and just having the streaming stick, which of course is great if you've got a good internet connection, and B, you don't have the money to invest in a console generation. But of course, if you want the best native experience, then it will be either on the series consoles or on PC. And that's how it will remain. Of course, streaming's great, but even as we know, streaming is still limited to 1080p. I don't think they'll ever push it to a full 4K image, because that'll take a lot of bandwidth for anybody.
No, if you don't mind, I would just say, so Stadia actually does 4K, and they use ZeniMax's technology to do that.
Oh,
really?
Microsoft
have got that. Yeah, it's a bit of technology called Orion that they use for low latency 4K streaming. So Microsoft do own that. So 4K will come at some point on current kind of connections.
Oh, that's good.
But the other thing that was interesting, you were just saying, like, who are the sticks for and who's the streaming service for? And that is actually a very good point, because hardware access, or lack of hardware access, as it were, like service access, is only part of the equation there, because they've got to put the right content out for those people as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to look over time whether they're going to try and teach those people that actually they like Halo, or whether they're going to try and tailor content for a broader audience, and we'll see what happens there. But
yeah, you've got a good point there. Whether or not you end up finding a lot of these people play like loads of Super Lucky's Tale and things for their kids on the telly, or whether or not they play these highly competitive multiplayer shooters and driving games. That's a very good point.
They've also been gaining a lot of They've also been gaining a lot of insight and analytics and stuff from the obviously xCloud streaming on Android and iOS and stuff now. So I think that will have helped them kind of inform if people are actually playing it and what situations are. So I think one of the other applications could well be, maybe you're a household with only one console, but your kids want access to play something else, and they can do that on a second television or something like that, so you don't necessarily have to go out and buy multiple TVs, multiple console hardware, etc. So it just gives the more casual gamer, or a younger child, or even a second adult or something, just another opportunity to play some stuff who are not necessarily that kind of affected by super high, super low latency, and they want kind of the finest input lag numbers and stuff like that. There are a lot of gamers, as Asa said before, that kind of deal with that perfectly fine, and that's the kind of experience that they're used to. So I think it just gives families a second option without having to buy kind of multiple consoles. So I think they've almost got the complete suite, haven't they? If you want to pay kind of $200, you've got your Series S, and you want some dedicated hardware. If you want kind of cutting edge, you've got your $400 Series X. if you want to just play on mobile, that's covered, and then the fourth pillar will be TVs and stuff. Will have that kind of app in now, just to give other family members and people in the household the opportunity to play at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm also very interested how this will change the subscription service with Xbox Live Gold, for example. There are many rumors a while ago. How this will be like you said, Chris, how this will change for a household on itself. Do you have then one subscription and then you can play on 4 TVs at home with 4 sticks, for example? So I'm really curious how they're gonna combine that with Xbox Live Gold as well. And what I'm also curious at is with the stick, can you just put it in every TV that has a USB connection, and then you can have the service working? And also, if you don't have the stick, which TVs will be compatible? Sony TVs, for example. But I wonder how it will work. But it's very smart for them, as they know that the hardware is expensive to make, to create, etc., to produce. So moving towards devices where you don't have local hardware, it's smart, and the low level entry, it's perfect. But maybe the subscription service on itself with Xbox Live Gold will have a remake as well then.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it compares, kind of in terms of subscription levels pre-TV integration and post-TV integration, to see exactly what that does for them economically.
Mm-hmm.
Does it really drive the kind of growth that they're intending? Because obviously what they really want to do is get this, I think, as quickly as possible to 50 to 100 million subscribers as they can. I think the baseline they're probably aiming for is probably that 50 million mark. I think that is when it'll start to become kind of shall we say, a profitable service, and then also give them a little bit more free rein in terms of investment on what they put on there from third party. At the moment, I think it's primarily investing in third party to make up for the shortfall in first party that is there. I don't know, other people might disagree, but I think that's potentially one of the reasons why we're getting some of these larger third-party kind of deals coming to Game Pass at the moment.
Sure.
To make up for the fact that first-party's still not firing on all cylinders as yet, although that's hopefully
Xbox
about to change this weekend.
Xbox has no games. So.
0 games. Not one game.
No games.
But also because sometimes I use the streaming service with my phone.
Yeah.
And even with the 5 gigahertz that you need for like a proper for playing a game.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it doesn't pick up the signal. It's still lagging, so I hope with the sticks that's coming out, I hope it's gonna work better, and that you don't have that when you play at the highest connection that it's lagging or anything. So I hope it's gonna work better on like the mobile phone, because I still have that problem.
Won't that improve with server blades though?
Yes, it will do. Yeah. Obviously, and as Asa mentioned there, not only will it kind of improve with the fact that the server blades which is another kind of point for tonight, the server blades being nearly completed on the integration and upgrade from Xbox One S consoles to Xbox Series X consoles in the server blades, which will provide a huge boost in kind of performance across the board. But then, if, like Asa mentioned there, that the ZeniMax technology allows them to then increase performance further on, and then also provide low latency 4K, I think that's going to be an even bigger boost to the service. I think that's going to help. I have noticed and I don't know whether or not Gaz and Asa, you've managed to play much of Xbox kind of game streaming on mobile, etc. so far, but I have noticed from its original pre-alpha, should we say, behind closed doors testing to now, it has definitely improved in terms of latency and kind of feedback. What do you guys think?
I've not touched it, but I'm pretty sure you have, haven't you, guys?
I have, and it has improved, but it's still a long way off from being optimal. I mean, I'm saying optimal. I'm not expecting lag-free experience.
Yeah, just zero latency.
Yeah, exactly. But it's to the point where if you do use it and you've got that little Wi-Fi warning counter constantly flashing, and I'm like, why is that the case? Because I'm sitting at a location where I'm playing, for instance, the Nintendo Switch, and I play Smash Brothers online. That's completely fine. Why is it so much? Why is there so much lag or artifacting? And it's really inconsistent as well. And I think it's because it has to contend with the nature of the device that you're playing on as well. And I found that I have to restart my phone and get rid of all some background services, then it gets better. It's going to take a lot of refinement, I imagine, because of the breadth of devices it's catering for, even though the principal idea is just streaming through this app. But even in the pre-alpha time, even with the lag, actually, it was just kind of weird and like magical. Like, damn, I'm playing, of all the games, I played Crackdown, which is probably the only time I'd actually play that game is on the move. As well, I can't sit here on the like I was on the tube, and if you're moving, then it gets even worse. But then I've got the Razer Jungle Cat that just slots to either side of the phone, and I was just playing it, and it looked like a Switch. And there were all these people watching me like, what is he playing? And that looks amazing, because it really looks something else. And I completed Crackdown because of xCloud, and and it was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it because of the fact that it was mobile, because it was so weird playing that. So there's definite scope for that when 5G comes to prominence. That's going to be so cool, man. And people are writing it off now, mobile gaming, but they'll change their attitudes to it because of xCloud.
Most definitely. And I think obviously you've got to imagine Xbox as well don't just think about one particular nation. Like, they really have to kind of step up and crack that Asian market. And the primary focus in the Asian market is mobile gaming. Like, there is absolutely nothing that counters mobile gaming over in China and Japan, etc. Like, that is an absolute force to be reckoned with.
That's a good point. That's their market. That there is huge. And Brazil as well is huge there. If they crack that, it's a whole different metric. Then it's like market leader talk is going to be so silly when you talk about hardware unit sales in that regard. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
It's the Koreans that are going to be doing well if they manage to open up to them, because their internet, their Wi-Fi internet is phenomenal. I was like years ago. It still might be somewhere I end up moving to for work. But I saw somebody who was sat in a national park. I think it was like 10, 15 kilometers outside Seoul. And he showed his the speed test app, and he was getting a gigabyte down. Sat in a national park. It's just
gigabyte down. We
gigabyte down. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
If only.
Someone in the chat, Muppet, says, "Come on, Gaz, you can game on the throne." I do that with the Switch, but yeah, you're right. You're right.
Then you run the risk of numb legs.
Yeah.
After a while. And elbow marks on the legs.
I've had some ridiculous stories. I don't even know why I'm telling you. Actually, I'm not going to tell you this. But yeah,
go for it. Why not?
No, it's just a stupid. Like, you just have a dead leg, and I've literally collapsed to the wall. I literally fallen with the Switch in my hand. I'm looking dead leg. Dead leg. Literally, that's how long I sat there playing.
That's how long you've been on the throne.
I lost all feelings, and I just fell. It's so stupid. I laughed at myself as I was falling.
Where when you walk away, your leg felt like a stump, a little like non-connected.
Yeah, it was horrible. But it was worth it because I ranked up on Smash.
It was worth it.
Oh dear me. And then, of course, we've got the news that was directly again from Xbox on the same article. Really stating that they've got 23 plus studios ready to release first party games once per quarter. So at least one game per quarter from the first party studios going forward. Now, obviously, we know this year we've got Flight Sim and we've got Halo Infinite. So it remains to be seen what is coming up going forward and what we will get 2022, 2023, so on and so forth. But of course, that's very promising news to be able to at least know that their intentions are to release one first-party game every quarter. the little bit of a snippet there, actually, that a lot of people have noticed, some people haven't, is that they mentioned 23 plus first-party studios. Of course, at the moment, we are only aware of 23. So, as the rumor kind of suggested prior to Sunday's showcase, are we then expecting now that
Crytek.
additional studio Crytek additional studio to be announced? And who do we think it is, if it is? Gaz, I'll start with you.
I think you may. I'm not going to say anything, but I think you'll see possibly an announcement at E3 about an acquisition. Possibly, maybe. I don't know.
Is it the series that has been on Xbox before?
Bullshit.
Yes. No, you're talking about a series. No, this is a studio acquisition I'm talking about.
Yeah. I meant in terms of a game.
Oh,
a game series that has been on Xbox before. It has.
Yeah. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing.
EU based or North America based?
I'm just guessing. I'm gonna get me in trouble. I wish
There'll be a global one.
There'll
be a global.
Yeah.
There'll be a global. There'll be an acquisition which has studios around the globe. That's all I'm saying.
So you know as well, Chris.
I don't even know the same thing as Gaz.
I don't know anything, so I don't know why you guys listening to me.
There's something I've heard, which is very interesting and quite close to me. Right.
Really
this moment.
close to you? What are you talking about? I'm just hearing some.
If you just think where my accent is from, Gaz. That's what I mean, quite close to me.
What? A Scouser's studio.
Peter Moore. Liverpool.
Sony Liverpool.
Sony Liverpool. So what the hell? We got a scoop.
It's back. Oh, there you go. I'm not going to say
bringing
anymore.
it back from the ashes.
I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you, it's not Sony Liverpool.
But I mean, it could be. But I guess it would be a good time with these acquisitions. One thing people need to understand is that if they really go down to the wire. I mean, I say to the wire, it's like it's really important for Microsoft and its optics to announce these things right at the right time, and that's the key peak time is these things. But with mergers and acquisitions, a lot can throw a spanner in the works. Like Obsidian happened on the day before when it was announced, But I'm expecting one announcement at E3, maybe based on just people talking. Well, who are these people? You can't source me as anything. But yeah, I mean, anything like that, if it's true, is going to be huge for Microsoft to announce at E3.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big one. And this whole thing, I will say that 1 game per quarter thing is a conservative statement, because when they do get into this stride, there'll be 100%. A lot more than that.
I was going to say, because you have to think they've got 23 internal studios, but each of those studios has potentially 2 or 3 projects going on at any one point.
Yeah. And then they're going to be more. It's going to be.
Yeah. I think there was a big statement, wasn't there, where they came out and said we're all in on gaming now. I think there's no kind of messing about with that statement, is there? So.
Yeah, Satya Nadella said it.
You've got the CEO of Microsoft saying, we're all in. So,
but then you have to take that with a pinch of salt, Chris, because he also said we were always all in on gaming, and he cited Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it was actually Satya Nadella who, and Phil Spencer confirmed this, said to Phil Spencer, we don't need to be in the gaming space, you know that. But this is the same Satya Nadella who has now come on stage and said, we've always been into gaming. It's always been at the core of what we do. But so it's like, okay, hold on, you can't say that, because we know that wasn't that case. But they are 100% all in into gaming. Though.
Yeah, I don't think you kind of build 23 studios just to go we'll kill all them off just for the sake of it.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's mad.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it's also a challenge to Sony, and so Nintendo have got their space because they create some. I'm not saying Sony don't create unique, but Nintendo have got a very unique fan base, a very unique product, and their games are kind of timeless classics and things. But it's definitely making Sony slightly uncomfortable. And if people say it's not, then they're just fooling themselves really, because you have to take note of these things. So
at the end of the day, like you mentioned, they of course they're going to be uncomfortable because they're both businesses. Of course, they need to be slightly consumer oriented to try and do things that will get consumers in, but they are a business, and they will take notice of large business business moves. Yeah. And if Microsoft are going all out and putting their games and services on as many possible places as possible to try and see what is going on, and try and get as many gamers in for a very low amount of money. For instance, game streaming on TV or via a stick, it's going to cost somebody £10 a month to do that. That's the smallest buy-in that you could possibly have for next generation gaming. So of course, Sony they're gonna have to take notice. I mean,
I think they'd be a lot more.
Will be.
They're not just taking notice. I'm pretty sure they'll be worried.
Yeah,
they would be worried with this, but I don't know. I think Asa, you always say that Sony. So would you say Sony or sorry, I feel like I'm going to host mode, but like you always disagree with me on this though.
No, I don't. Sony definitely need to be aware. It's obviously come up quite a lot of times in the past. My thing for them that they really need to be concerned about is not their hardware sales or their first party sales. It's losing the third party share. Their whole strategy is based on like you get these consoles out. Yes, you make games to get these consoles out.
Yeah.
And then you put your feet up and you take your 30% on everything that's happening. And that's the bit that's at risk, that 30% on their EA games, their Activision games, their Ubisoft games, and everything else. Because if Microsoft get into the same homes as the PlayStations and they start putting some things on Game Pass and all the rest of it, it's going to become the place that people actually play, even if they've got a PlayStation 5, even if they buy the next God of War. There are other 15 games for the year. Sony don't get a piece of that anymore, unless they can put these cross-platform like little caveats in the contracts, But
I think that's spot on, Asa. I think your point is absolutely spot on, and I think if Microsoft go more and more aggressive and start getting those kind of big bangers on Game Pass, or offer enough for if Sony do put caveats in contracts and stuff that developers or publishers feel kind of they've got other options where they can almost like turn Sony down on some of those things, where in the past they've obviously kind of had to kind of swallow that or whatnot. I think you're absolutely spot on. I think that's the area that will really kind of cause concern to Sony if Xbox offer a kind of attach rate to X number of gamers on a Game Pass service or something like that.
But it's even so outside of Game Pass though, if you consider like things like simple things like friends lists and achievements and all these things that are already there to keep someone in an ecosystem, once you've moved them into that ecosystem with Game Pass, then even when they're spending money and buying games and they've got a choice between the consoles, they'll stick to where their friends are. And it's powerful. So,
but we're looking at one game every 3 months, right, from first party. But that's 4 games a year. Is that so much of an improvement compared to Sony, for example? I know we're not so used from Xbox doing it from 2017 till now, let's say. But yeah, one game every three months. I mean.
Yeah, but that's just for just first party. There's not to include second party deals in that.
No, because that's why I think that will be the success. The second and the third party, those games that will be in Game Pass, that will make the difference, I think, on the long run.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Sony there as well, though. But again, Sony have half, if not less than half, of the studios that Microsoft have currently, and their output kind of really varies. So as you see in the tail end of last generation, their output was ridiculous, but kind of the middle section was a bit timid. Again, they were only releasing like 1 and 2 games, maybe at most a year. And then at the end, we're seeing kind of everything really ramp up because that's when the games were nearing completion. That's why you had 3 major first party titles released at the very last year of PlayStation's PlayStation 4's kind of generation. And same will be this time around. Of course, Insomniac have just released or releasing Ratchet and Clank later on today, if not today. But then they've released 3 games by themselves, and other first-party studios haven't released anything yet. The Insomniac are really just shouldering that burden at the moment just to keep them going. And outside of that, you've got Horizon, which isn't isn't a definitive for this year, and God of War and GT7. So you've got 3 games that are definitively coming potentially next year instead. So there's 3. Outside of that, what else is happening?
Kena.
Whereas Microsoft able Kena's a timed exclusive though. Not
But that's how they solve it.
Exactly.
With those second party deals, right? And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's pretty smart to do so, if it's a good title.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
we can't knock Kena because Kena looks absolutely brilliant. It looks like a little Pixar film.
Mhm.
Yeah,
looks
I'm looking
beautiful.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Yep. But again, their output is going to be far less than Xbox are. This is again, we'll see if it is their game plan after all to achieve 4 per year. At least again, like I say, that's a minimum 1 per quarter. It could be more, but 4 is the benchmark they want to hit, or at least achieve as a minimum benchmark. So, if that's said, that's very productive. If you're guaranteed at least 1 first-party title every quarter for the entire generation, I think that's a massive output.
Yeah, depends on what kind of game also, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It can be a AA title, so then you already lose 1, let's say, and then you have the 3 ones need to be really good, or else I'm not so impressed, to be honest. No.
Yeah, again, it depends. It depends on what kind of the expectations are and how good those. Because again, a AA title can still do extremely well, very well indeed. Again, I would imagine Kena is probably what you class as a AA indie title.
Mhm.
I think that game's really going to do well for probably a few million sales, and for an indie kind of game studio, that is massive. We've seen the figures on indie titles before, and they don't normally exceed a couple, like 500,000 to 1 million if they're lucky at times, and only the odd indie studio really kind of exceeds that. As you've seen, a few of them have really kind of skyrocketed, a bit like Hades went nuts.
Descendants.
Yeah, Descenders has done really well.
Rocket League.
Yep, exactly. And then what was that other one that came out not too long ago? Valheim. Valheim went absolutely like the amount of sales for that game went absolutely skyrocketed. It was something like 6-7 million or something.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's what do we all expect? And we've kind of Gaz have alluding to something that is pretty large and sounds more like a publisher than a studio.
It's a studio. I'm alluding to a studio acquisition.
Studio. And Chris is more along the lines of a global publisher than a studio. Am I right?
No, studio. No, like a
again?
global. Well, yeah, a developer in multiple locations.
Right. Okay.
I love if they announce nothing and we're just me and you look like such utter crap.
That's the issue, isn't
possibility.
it? That's why everyone's a bit cagey about stuff, because you gotta hear.
I'm not in that one of those insider guys. Look, this is my first little dance here, and I'm hearing people who are saying, "Yeah, this is happening." So this is coming from hearsay. This doesn't happen. You guys are gonna be like, "Gaz is such a muppet for saying that."
No,
I'm gonna go straight to them, and I'm gonna be like, "Listen, you little shit. You guys said this with such confidence that I just said it on bloody WandrinDutch's show, and then I just got lasered."
But do you have 3 sources, Gaz, or no?
What's right?
Do you have three sources confirming this or no?
I have
Yes.
multiple
That's the
people
first
saying
one,
the
right?
same thing, but the way if you know how it works, it could be coming from the same one source. It's so stupid.
Yeah, the same source telling all 3
The
sources.
same sauce or the same source?
The source is always unique.
It's the same leaker telling all different people who tell you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
everything
dear
is
me.
Chris Grannell for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if me and Gaz are wrong, you
Yeah,
can just
from Liverpool.
you can pelt us with like fruit or something at some point.
I
It
will
doesn't
send you
happen.
DM later, guys. No problem. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing as well. I think everyone's got to kind of realize is even though they could very well intend on telling us what this acquisition might be, if it isn't close enough to completion, or if the kind of the actual they're not legally allowed to speak of it, then they might have to postpone any kind of announcement. It depends on its completion. A bit like Bethesda, of course.
Apparently is almost there. That it's
Yeah.
E3 announcement apparently is certain. But who knows? Who knows? It's also the same studio working on this thing.
We're probably talking about the same. It was the studio that worked on that thing, Gaz, that got released at that time on that console.
on that console at one point.
But I think it'll be a very good E3 if this happens. I mean, personally, I wouldn't rate the studio out there, but I would say some people would say it's a very proficient and good studio to pick up. But I mean, any acquisition you announce at E3, no matter who it is, it's going to be a big boon for Microsoft to show at E3. But they need to show the games, man.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That makes a good E3, guys. Not only the studios, just show the damn games finally.
Yeah. Really, that's the thing. I think we need to talk about more. Is like what can Microsoft actually show that would impress us?
What would you like them to show us? What would you like them to show us?
Hellblade 2.
On the back of Ratchet and Clank, which some people called a cartoon game and mocked down. Dodge. That game looked stellar, yeah. And I just Xbox desperately need, in my opinion, a game, an exclusive that shows off the power of the Xbox Series.
100%.
They need to show that. And Hellblade is, for me, one of those game prime candidates because obviously because Ninja Theory are really good at what they've done. We've seen what they've done with Hellblade, but the game, because of its scope, it's narrow single-player game. On Unreal Engine 5, it actually stands the best chance of looking visually impressive. So there are murmurs around, and that's not the same source, saying that it definitely won't have an appearance at E3, which to me it's kind of stupid because you showed off bloody console in 2019 with this thing. And then the next year you said, it's set in Alaska or something, and no one cares. Just show us the damn game, and that's one thing I want. I want to see, but if it's not Hellblade, it's definitely not Halo, and it's not based on any insider information. I'm telling you now, people need to scale back that. Halo is my number one franchise. I would sacrifice 3 Xbox IPs for Halo to look good at E3. And I'm telling you, it's not good to look transformative if that's what people are expecting. It will look okay, but it's sad to me that that's not going to be the flagship title's not going to look the showcase statement piece. But what else is there?
I think Project Myra would be a better
Project
thing.
Myra, if they show it. I don't know what that is.
I want definitely something else than the regular Forza, Halo, and Gear stuff, right? I really want to blow our socks off by a surprise, like an old IP. Banjo-Kazooie is rumored heavily for a really, really, really long time now. So maybe one of the other studios just made it, right? So that will be awesome.
They've got a few of them cartoony games they could revive that were large, like your Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah. But they need to show some gameplay, like the PS Play, or what was the last show that they had. Just show a 5-minute clip where you hear the dev talking, show some gameplay. Man, that would be sick, but everybody's waiting on it. If they don't do it this E3, I will be pissed.
And then you'll wait for the next E3, because that's what we do.
Xbox fans. But my expectations are really low this year. Normally, I was always super hyped and super excited. And to be fair, I'm just trying not to watch the internet so much and just not have my expectations really in check this time. So I hope I will be surprised. But I somehow have the feeling we will get disappointed. But that's because of the last 4 E3 that sucked Donkey D.
Yeah, but Microsoft can't do that. True. Microsoft cannot afford to do that. I say afford, and Microsoft can afford to do a lot of things.
Sure.
But in terms of it's actually, I'm hearing that, look, first, a couple of weeks ago, I was hearing from some sources that temporary expectations is not that good. Then all of a sudden last week, things changed. And it just annoys me that you have all this ammo, all these studios, and we're told to temper expectations. Even that might not be the case. They might just have a stellar show. But Microsoft should always aim for that stellar show. But it's well overdue, man. It's so overdue with the Xbox. And this is the chance now. This is the chance. Especially if we didn't launch with a console exclusive like that, then you have no excuse. You have to show us the power. Power. That's all you talked about was power, and not one game shows off the power of this console. And I think it's time. It's time. We deserve that, surely.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Asa, what do you want Xbox to show off then on Sunday? What is the one thing that would guarantee this to be a success to you?
To me, so I'm less patient than most people. I mean, I'm of the same
don't worry,
opinion
you're
as
about as
everybody
patient
else
as we are.
I'm as impatient as everybody else in terms of I don't want to see CG trailers. Nobody wants to see CG trailers again. We had that last year. We understand you couldn't get gameplay. You outsourced some stuff to cinematic teams. Fine. Now you need to fix that. Now you've had like a year to figure out how to show us some gameplay. So I want to see gameplay, and personally, I want to see something coming this year. Like I don't want to see games that are going to be shown in next year's E3. I want to see games that are coming. Like everybody's confident that Microsoft are going to get their act together, and in a couple of years there's going to be games. But I want stuff now. Give me the stuff that's coming before the next E3, or I'm going to be mad.
Yeah. I think the one thing we can take from the direct statement, then kind of announcing the show in the first place, was that they are showing off games that are coming out this year, which is the one positive I took from that statement, other than the fact that it's going to be kind of a 90-minute show. The fact that they're going to focus on games that are coming out kind of this year, or at least over the next 12 months, which is great, but it also alludes to the fact that we'll probably not see some of the bigger games that we want to see updates on. We might not see anything to do with Avowed. We might not see anything to do with Fable, judging by that.
Starfield.
Well, yeah. People still think Starfield could get that up.
Starfield has to be. It's on the poster. Like it has to be. Put it on the poster and not show it.
Imagine. It was just a tease. It's not actually talking about it at all. Dear me.
Do you guys think Starfield will actually look good visually?
It depends because
I think it does, but it's probably not the game that I'm looking for. Maybe.
Yeah, I find it a little bit kind of difficult to suggest whether or not it will or will not be, because the creation engine's been a bane in their side for years, and Todd Howard has alluded to the fact that they've spent a lot of time actually kind of getting this engine up to scratch. But year on year, modders from the community are still fixing the engine and are still fixing the games quicker than Bethesda can for that particular engine. So, do I think it could look great? Yes. Do I think it will look great?
You have some sources for that or no?
Undecided.
Undecided. In the chat.
The concern that I have for Starfield is, even if it looks good in person, and if you look at their previous games, like Fallout 4 is a good example because nobody liked the way that it looked. But if you look at it in person, it's great in terms of texture detail and things. It's a good looking game, but it's not cinematic. It doesn't trailer that well. And Starfield is also not likely to be a cinematic game. Like everyone's expecting it to be Fallout or Skyrim in space. It's going to be broad in scope, and it might look fantastic in person, but I'm just not sure that it'll look that good in a cinematic trailer that they produce at E3. So I completely agree. And the way they do trailers as well, especially historically, the Bethesda game trailers are usually gameplay based. So and that goes for all of them, whether that be Fallout or whether that be Elder Scrolls, apart from the teaser intro to Elder Scrolls 6. That doesn't count. Because that was nothing.
Is it going to be like something like No Man's Sky or something,
It's hard to judge.
I have the feeling it's going to be something like that, really.
Yeah. With a little bit more, obviously, renowned Bethesda mechanics in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. We shall have to wait and see. I am looking forward to it, but much like yourselves, expectations are very low, intentionally.
Bethesda, and I agree with
my
Colt.
expectations for the game aren't like. Go on, guys.
Your expectations are what? Sorry.
My expectations for the game aren't low. I'm just not convinced that it will blow people away in trailer form. But go on, guys.
Or visually, I don't expect. I mean, if it looks nice visually, that's to me a bonus, because Bethesda's games have never really looked all that impressive. But like Colt says, I'm expecting a washed out colors and space. But you can do a lot with space, like cool sky maps or whatever, space maps. I don't know what you call it, planets and all that. It's the scope of the game. I don't want a bloody Fallout in space. I want them to do something weird and different, something daring, something 2001: A Space Odyssey mixed with DMT and some madness.
With a Dogecoin rocket going into space.
Rockets going into space
with the Dogecoin.
With a
Dogecoin. Dogecoin, yeah.
Yeah, when reality is as weird as that, I don't know what to tell you, man.
To the moon.
Could you imagine if that was the currency of the game?
Yeah, the currency of the game is Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Dear me.
That's funny.
What do you make as well then of the supposed leak by GameStop Ireland that Flight Sim is actually going to be releasing on the 15th of June? Did you see any credence in that? Is there any truth to that, do you think? Or
I think it'd be awesome. I think it needs to. I think the Xbox, it would be nice to have an almost like, and you can get it today or tomorrow, that type, with something doesn't have to necessarily be Flight Sim, but something, a kind of Apple moment where you get it within the space of a certain time. I'm with Asa, something quite soon, not holiday or this or that, or so. I think Flight Sim could be that game. It's obviously been in production enough. I think Tom said on Twitter today, didn't he, that he's seen kind of like a new 4K trailer and running on Series X and this, that, the other. So they're obviously pushing some of that in the kind of like media, promo stuff.
Sweet.
So who knows? He kind of pointed towards it could be. Well, I think he even said in the street it was like very, very soon or something. So it's not insurmountable. But I had a feeling like Xbox would launch some type of peripheral with Flight Sim, for the console, or
yeah, I know what you mean.
Announce some type of support, so you're not just playing it on a. I mean, it does play all right on an Xbox controller on the PC, but I just had a feeling a bit like MechWarrior from yesteryear or something. You had this big, just this flight control stick or hot ass system or whatever it would be. But yeah, I can see it dropping sooner rather than later. But
Xbox has my game.
Yeah,
saucy.
But I played with the HOTAS at what was it, XO19? I believe it was a HOTAS or a Logitech, I don't know. But it was super fun to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. It was awesome. So I probably need to change my wheelbase over here with that, Chris. Let's cancel the fan attack, DD.
You guys want to talk about insiders? There's an insider in the chat. He's literally says 26. He's alluding to 26 studios. Now, he hasn't even told me where he got this info from. But he's pretty sure there's 3 more. 3 more, yeah?
Is it a studio from Liverpool still, Colt?
That would be insane. Yeah, it'd be a studio from Liverpool, studio from Newcastle. That also is international.
Yeah.
Of course, if anybody doesn't know, the only studio in Newcastle is Ubisoft Reflections.
You've heard it here first.
Stop the process.
Fair enough.
26 is your waist size. You wish.
Colts 26.
Oh, my
26 centimeters or
millimeters.
Right. Come on, man.
Oh god, here we go.
oh man.
Oh god, hey, dear me. The next part of the show is going to be a bit wacky, so we'll have some fun here. This is the community's most wildest predictions for Xbox E3 on Sunday. And we'll start with one of our panel members who's officially joining the show next week, and that is Vin. And his wildest prediction is Xbox by Sega, including IPs Skies of Arcadia and Shining Force. Along with Rise 2 is in development already for years and has gameplay. Dreamcast games appear on Game Pass, and Splinter Cell finally announced. Tomb Raider gets a trailer. Also, I think that's a very wild expectation. I don't know. Has anybody got any thoughts on that? Do you think there's any truth?
Oh, they're definitely all happening. Yeah, every single
all
one.
happening.
Confirmed.
Gaz, is that Studio Sega?
Definitely not Sega. Well, that's not even. That's some megaton. I don't care what people say. People say, "Oh, what's Sega got?" But it's pure, just the like optics of that would be huge. I would not be so calm in telling you I know about Sega. That would have been something else. This is a smaller studio. I like kind of studio I had to Google and see what games they made. But then they're like, oh, they made that game. Okay.
Right.
But Sega, yeah. This is match made in heaven, though, man. It has to happen.
At some point.
The DNA is there. It's just, and it would be really good for Japan as well. I guess they can really leverage that. Then we can get rid of the stupid naming convention and call it the next Xbox Dreamcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Xbox. Yeah, let's go for it. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
The next wild prediction was over 5 new first. I mean, this doesn't sound overly wild, but over 5 new first-party AAA IP will be shown. Microsoft will purchase 4 game development studios, not far off from potentially what Colt's saying.
3, yeah.
Over 20 games will be added to Xbox Game Pass on June 13th. Every game shown will premiere in Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Play becomes open for all. I think you might mean EA Play or Xbox Play. I don't know what that alludes to, but yeah, that's from King Dudley. So 4 new studios, 5 new first-party AAA IP, and 20 games to go into Game Pass on June 13th. How wild do you think that one is? Do you think there's any grounds to be excited on what that is?
Oddly specific, no?
Oddly specific, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
20th June, all these games are coming on Game Pass.
20 games in one day.
20 games to Game Pass in one day. What do you
20
think?
games would imply Ubisoft or something, wouldn't it? But I'd say so. The Game Pass announcement for this month has been very slim. So I'd say we're getting a bunch of Game Pass announcements during the show. I would think 20's a lot though. That would have to be Ubisoft.
20's a lot.
But the rumors are also like that Ubisoft is joining Game Pass. So who knows? 20 games in one day.
Yeah, that would be huge if they had like a third-party kind of partnership. Remember earlier this year, there was like big murmurs going around about an earth-shattering acquisition announcement, or like rivaling Bethesda. That I still haven't forgotten about that, and they seem to be pretty. I don't know.
They're not buying Ubisoft. They're getting Ubisoft's crusty old games and putting them in Game Pass.
Yeah,
you mean like EA Access? We're still getting that 6 months later.
Yeah.
You're not referring to like the old Warner Brothers rumors from a while ago, are you guys?
No, not those ones. Not those ones. And then
going for 10
everyone.
We'll just
Steam,
push the boat out.
Steam, Valve.
Yeah, Valve. Valve would be the only one that really eclipses it. If we're being honest, Valve would be
not
ginormous.
That happening at all.
No.
Didn't what you call it, Mr. Valve, who I can't think of his name because I've had such a day of
At the university, right?
Yeah, didn't he say something about you know, him and Phil kind of said you'll see Game Pass on Steam when Steam's on Xbox or something like that? Then they released an interesting little snippet, and then that kind of coincided with what he said at the university. So he may just be pissing about, but you know.
I've not seen. That's actually that'd be an interesting quote though, because I fully expect Game Pass to go onto Steam.
Yeah,
fully expect GameSs to go onto Steam, but the other way around is that would shatter everything.
Let me see if I can find the quote just while everyone's gabbing.
Something from later this year, they will announce something in some sort. But what the hell can it be, right? Can be anything. Maybe Half-Life VR coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
Next on the wild list, let's go back to it then. We had something that wasn't actually too wild. This is by Scott from Green Pass Gaming, and he said that Xbox eventually unveils Xbox VR, and it's due out fall holiday this year. What do you think about that? Do you think that's a possibility that they eventually dive down into that VR space or not?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I love VR. Like, I would love for them to do it, and I hate. It's the one bad thing about Microsoft acquiring all these studios is they've actually swallowed up some of the only big studios that dabbled in VR. So Ninja Theory did Hellblade VR, and they've got Bethesda who did Doom, Skyrim, Fallout VR. They've got In Exile who did Mage's Tale VR, and they're swallowing up these studios, and they won't work on VR anymore because it just runs so contrary to what Game Pass is. Game Pass is all about accessibility and tearing down all of the restrictions in playing, and VR is about adding something you have to strap it to your face. So no, don't see it. Would love it, but don't see it.
Yep. I think the one thing that we can expect, because I don't expect them to work on their own first-party VR, should we say, or one that's built in-house, but they do have a lot of partnerships with mixed reality and augmented reality. So if we see anything in the future, it'll just be a case of those MR and AR headsets being able to work on series consoles.
I've got a Windows mixed reality headset. I've got 2 Windows mixed reality headsets. So in terms of software and ecosystem, not ecosystem so much, but the software of it, it's there and has been for years. Microsoft are doing well in that, but it's just not coming to Xbox, I don't think. But
yeah, that's fair enough. The next wild one, and this one's. I mean, I'd love for it to happen, but I don't see it. Tim of Legend walks out and calls a fellow friend to help with their next game announcement. No other than Jack Black. Eddie is back and riffs to Brutal Legend 2 reveal trailer. What did you? I mean, would love for that to happen.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Would be awesome. I don't see that one happening. Anybody else?
Nope.
Definitely it is happening. Yep.
It's happening. 100%. Jack Black is already announced.
He's still working with them on Psychonauts 2, right? So
yeah. Jack Black is a Series X exclusive. That's it. Called it here. And the one of the last ones here. I mean, this one's actually ended up being nearly true based on the leaks from GameStop. But one of them is Flight Sim will shadow launch on console before the week is up. Potentially could end up happening if that GameStop 15th of June release date is anything to go by. But we'll take it with a pinch until it's confirmed. Other than that, Ubisoft and EA Play Pro come into Game Pass Ultimate. Also, start with Halo. Mid showcase will be Starfield, and then end with a new AAA IP from one of their studios. I mean, the actual structure of that event doesn't sound unrealistic. But Ubisoft Plus and EA Play Pro, or the kind of top tier one, going into Game Pass. Do anyone actually see that happening?
Not unless it's a massively more expensive tier of Game Pass.
Yeah, I expect it to go up
like £100 a year.
Yeah. I mean, EA was never horrific. I think EA's wasn't that bad.
So EA have two, so on the PC space, or on the Xbox, you've got EA Play, the basic version, and that was £20 or $30 a year. Their premium version is like £100 a year, and Ubisoft's equivalent is also about that. So, whereas to go into Game Pass, you'd be looking at 3 times the price on Game Pass.
I mean, it depends really, because of course Game Pass have probably far higher subscription totals so far.
Exactly.
It's quite easy.
But then Microsoft take it. So EA's subscription is EA taking 100% of that £100 a year, and Ubisoft's the same. So don't see it. But
I think I can see it happening only from a perspective that kind of Ubisoft turned around and said that they were going to concentrate on more kind of games as a service in terms of like free products and stuff. So they may. I don't think you'll get like day and day bangers like Far Cry 6 and stuff going to Game Pass, but I think they may do something where it's kind of perceived that Ubisoft games are part of it, and some of these kind of like service games where, because obviously you've got kind of Rainbow Six on there with all of the kind of add-on packs and the different characters and stuff. So you've got more of these kind of free to play games. And I just wonder whether they'll have some type of tie-in so it feels like the part of Game Pass, but it's just a way of getting like the attach rate of the subscribers. I agree with Asa. I certainly don't believe it'll be like like a Far Cry going to Game Pass and stuff like that, unless they do like a very one-off specific deal or something.
If they did like an ultimate subscription, they'd have to think of their naming convention. But if they did like a top tier one that was like 30-40 quid a month, that included those. Yeah. I'd take it.
You can see people playing it as opposed to the 500 quid a month super ultimate subscription.
You never know. Again, it depends on if Microsoft want to take the hit initially and kind of fork them over a big lump sum at the start to kind of get it into the service. to prove otherwise. And say, listen, this is how many more people you're going to get. And you've seen the likes of both EA and Ubisoft love microtransactions, they love expansions, they love additional ways of earning money. If it's going to increase that tenfold, then it's going to be a no-brainer for them. But again, like you mentioned, their services individually cost a fortune as it is. And that's only on one platform, because you can only get those pro in both on PC. Can't get them on console.
Drew, do you also think that we get a really big third-party title announcement to go into Game Pass? Because I don't hear anybody really about hinting something like Battlefield 6 a while ago, right? That was heavily rumored, but besides that, you don't hear anything. And I really have the feeling, because it's Game Pass this, Game Pass that, every time they talk about Game Pass. So they really need to push on that. I really think they have a really big third-party title releasing in Game Pass, I think.
Agree. They've still got a few months to fill, haven't they? So
they really need to do that. I think, like I mentioned before, I think that's the way that you can really gain traction. Really gain traction. First party is one thing, but if you go third party, multi-platform titles that everybody loves, or your big FIFAs or Call of Duties or Battlefields or whatever, if that is in Game Pass releasing day and date, man. I mean, Outriders was nice. What was the other title? That released also day and date. Doesn't matter. But
MLB.
MLB. Yeah, exactly. But can you imagine if you have a bigger title? I mean, that already made a lot of noise, those other titles. But if they can have like a Battlefield or whatever, they won in Game Pass. Boom.
I mean, you've got Dark Alliance coming to Game Pass pretty soon, haven't you? Obviously, Dungeons and Dragons.
You can pre-download that already.
Yeah. So obviously that's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is like a 4-player co-op brawler type game. So I think that's getting a bit of PR and traction and stuff at the moment. So that'll come to it. I think you've got is it Vermintide 2 or the whatever it's called. Warhammer. It's not called Vermintide, but it's called something else.
Vermintide 2. Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Yeah, so I think that's coming. So I think there's a couple of interesting games coming to Game Pass. I think I definitely think something will be announced, like a third party banger. It just makes sense. But there are still a few decent titles coming to Game Pass.
100%. I think there is still big 3 third-party announcements to go, and I think a lot of them are because a lot of them have been approached. Like obviously, you've seen the rumor that Scarlet Nexus was coming out, and they automatically kind of dismissed that. But at this close to an event, I would imagine any studio was going to dismiss anything at this point. Just on they're not going to want to kind of just go, oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, 3 days before it was actually meant to be announced, I'm going to tell you the truth. Yeah, No studio is going to do that. They're going to wait. So if anything's going to happen, it obviously it will happen. I do believe there is still going to be massive third-party news for Game Pass. I don't think they would have put such an emphasis on Game Pass if it wasn't the case. They did mention it's going to be quite a lot of Game Pass news, kind of more. I don't know whether or not it's going to be near the tail end or kind of do it kind of midway through, but there is going to be a lot of third-party news kind of for Xbox coming up. I don't know what it could be though. Again, it depends. We've had rumors that it could be again Far Cry. We've had rumors that it's going to be Battlefield. We shall see. What does everybody? Asa, Gaz, what do you expect if there is going to be a third-party announcement? What would you like to see?
I'd like to see Battlefield because that price point is a bit controversial. It saves me a lot of money. That's for sure. I mean, the official Twitters of Xbox and EA were like fondling each other, if you can call it that, or like flirting with each other online, and everyone kind of read into that and thought, well, maybe this might be Forza making its way into Game Pass. I still think there's something there, and David Jaffe is convinced that it's coming to Game Pass. It would be such a good idea for both sides. It'd be really good for Xbox because it's perfect for Game Pass. It feeds into their market, isn't it? It's multiplayer centric user base, but also for Battlefield because Battlefield has typically struggled, despite the games being great and oftentimes better than the Call of Duty series. It's always struggled comparatively as well. So that, I mean, if the best chance of it really making a dent against Call of Duty, at least even if it's just on Xbox, it would be a Game Pass. I think it would be huge. It'd be a win-win. They would get money up front from Xbox, obviously, because that's what it's a prerequisite. To get on Game Pass. So they get a big fat wad of cash guaranteed. They've also got this season pass and all this stuff as well. So they've got room for monetization from the people who are on Game Pass. But the more fundamental thing that they'll get is that sweet cherry of player numbers, man. There's huge player numbers, and you build that momentum day one.
Everybody talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the battle pass is like $50, isn't it? So if you buy the $70 game, $50 battle pass, and you're like banging $120 on the
that'd be huge.
Game from the off.
Yeah, huge. Also, I'm wondering. There's a troll in your chat. He said he's not listening to me. You must be listening to me now, unless you muted. Press the mute button, right, Crimson? Yeah, I got the sauce.
The sauce.
Yeah, the source, you can't escape it, no matter how much you want to troll. But I mean, I don't want to make an example out of him, but some people will not be happy no matter what you get. So be aware for inevitable disappointment from people who have really unrealistic expectations. Because some people want PlayStation on Game Pass, apparently, because Xbox is in its own lane as well. And we talk about Game Pass and what kind of games you'll get. It's those kind of multiplayer titles, surely, that kind of game. That's the prime candidate. It'd be good to get single player games, but
100%. Do you think there's any rumor? Well, should we say, is there any truth in the Battlefield 6 thing yet, or still? Following kind of obviously the inevitable reaction to their trailer, and then obviously them announcing that the gameplay will be at on Sunday, which, even though they didn't say Xbox Game Showcase, it did say Sunday 13th, and there is only one showcase.
I have confirmed it's on the Xbox One. No, I don't think that's going to happen myself. I don't think timing-wise Microsoft need it.
Yeah. Because
it's going to be tail end of the year, sandwiched between Halo and probably Forza Horizon 5 and Crossfire X. I think the games that Microsoft are going to be looking at for third party will be anything that's in that space before they start landing. Just like they needed Outriders because it came at a time where they didn't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
And the next 3 months they probably haven't got that much to offer. So you might see something, I don't know, Tales of Arise, something like that, as a bigger game to go in. But I don't think they need to fill out the Christmas bit. But we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. And what do you potentially even this one on screen now, Back 4 Blood? What do you think? I
was thinking Back 4 Blood as a likely one because co-op games need Game Pass as far as I'm concerned. Like players is the lifeblood, and you see Back 4 Blood on there, but then it says October the 12th, and then I can't say Back 4 Blood if I've just said that about Battlefield because it's the same window. So don't know.
Different audience though, because Battlefield is directly competing with Halo, whereas Back 4 Blood, some people might not be that interested in that kind of game.
Yeah, most definitely.
True.
Well, did you see on Game Fest then that Deviation, X-Treyarch, and Infinity Ward have teamed up with PlayStation for an exclusive AAA game? It was just a little bit earlier on Summer Game Fest. So.
No.
What games do they make, Chris?
It's a new studio, so it's X-Infinity Ward and Treyarch people.
Oh, isn't it? It's supposed to be the multiplayer title. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
interesting.
Yeah, it'll be
SOCOM would be really nice if they bring it back. A lot of people are asking for it also. So and they need a multiplayer kind of title because to be honest, most of them are single player. So if they can have a really nice multiplayer shooter like SOCOM, bring it.
I think that'd be really good for the PlayStation. That, like you said, it's what people are asking for.
Yeah.
Well, I think it lends itself to like Sony. This isn't bashing them, but a lot of people. You see Sony as kind of a reactionary force, so they'll let people try things first and then react, and in some cases do it better, and so on and so forth. So I think grabbing a load of Treyarch and Infinity Ward talent and a new studio and stuff, you can imagine them wanting to try and create their own kind of COD or something. That type of studio that they've got more like control over. Can we create an IP or a banger that is a $1 billion franchise or something. So you can see that whether that's like SOCOM being attached to it or something else, but you can see that's the reason why they've kind of looked at doing that, as opposed to just let's just do something which isn't an FPS or something with a load of great FPS talent. So you can see that's why that's happening.
I was going to say they've got quite a few IPs that they could easily revive. And of course, you've like I mentioned, you mentioned SOCOM, but of course we've still got Resistance: Fall of Man, which is a very a game that they very much really want to kind of be revived, the Resistance franchise, and we'll see what PlayStation have got under their sleeves in the next few months, because as far as I've heard, they don't plan on having anything actually being kind of in terms of events in June. So we shall see. Until then, though, what did everybody actually make of the Battlefield 6 reveal trailer? Is it what you wanted to see? What do you expect?
Yes.
What do you expect to see from the gameplay that's coming up as well?
When the trailer was actually pretty good, I really liked it. It wasn't that futuristic for me. Of course, you had like the kind of drones and that stuff, but still, I think with the modern warfare, that the modern thing, it's for me. I think this is probably one of the Battlefields I've been waiting for, because Battlefield 5 and 1, I didn't play that much. Because I was, like pretty tired of the World War, the First World War and the Second World War kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this game. I'm looking forward to the gameplay as well. So I really like the trailer.
Yeah, awesome. Gaz, what did you make of it then? I know you were ready to rock and roll with an answer there.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm such a loudmouth. I'm trying to get in on it. It was annoying because I waited for ages, and they announced this reveal at 3 p.m. or something, and then you go there. There's hey, it's an hour countdown.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody respecting my time there. And then annoyed me even more that we didn't see actual gameplay. But they say it was in engine, which DICE engine always look good, but obviously this is this is just almost nearly CGI. Really, I need to see gameplay of it. But
yeah,
we saw some leaks about it, and the biggest relief for me after the disappointment about knowing that it's cross-gen was that it's set in a modern day. And like you, I don't like I didn't like Battlefield 5 and 1. To me, that was really, I just don't like old school, like that kind of, like that time is gone. So I wanted a modern day game, and it's coming, and it looks like it's nailed in all the bits that we want. It's got a lot. Well, we couldn't really tell about this and from the trailer, but huge 64 to 64, 128 player battles. That's mad. Like, only on next gen consoles as well. So that's going to be a wicked. That's just made for that. So that's going to be cool. Levolution. We didn't see much of Levolution, but we did see bits of it, like with the tornado. And it's just what kind of annoys me. Not annoys me, but I was hoping. It's not going to happen for a while, but. I was hoping they'd go back to the Battlefield 2 roots, because if you go back to Battlefield 2, it's a lot more serious, right? More realistic. And now with the tornado, it seemed a little bit gimmicky, but I can see the implementation in the game being quite interesting as well. So we have to see gameplay for it, but it's man, I can't wait for the jet. And that cool bit about the jet, what's it called? It comes out the jet, you do the rocket, and it goes back in the jet. The homage to what that guy did in Battlefield 3, which was like a massive meme at the time. That was really cool.
It was unbelievably unrealistic, but let's face it, that realism's out the window anyway with all the tornadoes and all that malark. So but if you're going to go for it, you may as well go for it.
It was a nod, wasn't it, to an actual player jumped out of a plane?
It was.
Yeah. So that there's a term for it, and someone actually pulled that off. On Battlefield 3.
Really?
And it was amazing. And
it begins with Z or something, doesn't it? I'm trying to. I know what you mean. The term is.
There's a term for it. So, and then someone actually jumped off an actual plane and did a skit. They replicated that in real life, but not exactly, obviously. But it was really cool. Like, this meme became something huge. And then people took it.
Rendezuk, it's called, or something.
Rendezuk or something like that. Yeah, what the hell? It's so annoying. Rendezuk.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And
I just googled it now, so.
And then people started doing some insane stuff. Like I've seen some people like turn around, do 180 snipe, go back into their enemy's jet. Like insane stuff. Like this is like people must have spent hours doing it. So that's what it is, a homage to Battlefield 3, which is good. And I can't wait for 128 player battles. But I'm a jet guy, so fighting on the map sizes apparently are huge. They're huge apparently. And one map apparently is supposed to be massive, so it's going to be like, yeah, that's perfect for me. I need larger air spaces. I need
I think it's needed, isn't it?
It's needed, man.
Anyway.
I hope they're densely populated because you can have like empty spaces, but Battlefield's good with that. And people say, okay, so I was in a party with Colt and Dealer, and we had this little argument going on about the price point. Like it's £60 or $70, and I made a tweet. And they're making fun of me for my tweet. I was like, Battlefield is always a multiplayer game. Like, what are you talking about? Bad Company 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, and bloody Zorka came in and they were shitting on me. But I was like, listen, Battlefield 1942 and Battlefield 2, those were multiplayer only. Those are the first few games and they were multiplayer only. That's what at its core what Battlefield is. And just because Battlefield Bad Company 2's campaign was good. Battlefield 3 and 4's was crap. Oh, not crap, actually. Okay, forgettable, right? No one remembers those. But why am I even talking about this? There's not even a topic. I've just created a bloody constructed an argument with myself.
4 was pretty good, right?
For those that are interested, they're showing Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring's on
right now.
Are they showing Elden Ring? Oh my god! Wait, hold on. We have to
I mean, it looks nice.
But
Looks
Battlefield
really
4, the single player, I remember it was the launch title of the PS4 and the Xbox One, right? We had the gigantic fields as well. I actually quite like Battlefield 4 single player.
Yes.
But for this last trailer, I didn't do anything for me at all. Also because it's mainly a CGI trailer, and I don't like
it. Didn't really show anything, did it?
No, that's why. And I want to see some gameplay. Maybe that will change my my opinion. But for now, I'm not hyped at all for Battlefield. Well, sadly.
Yeah, but the color palette's really interesting. Reminds me of look at the designs of the source. I mean the enemies. That's what I'm saying.
What do you make then of? Yeah. What do you make of the price tag then for a multiplayer only title still being £70, $70, whatever you make it, and any? I think that's still quite a lot considering you've also got then a season pass on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, Halo.
I know you've
Halo multiplayer.
I was going to say Gaz has mentioned it a lot as well over recently, so I'll Erwin.
Yeah, but the Halo multiplayer is going to be free to play, right?
Exactly.
Call of Duty Warzone is free to play, and then they come up with a multiplayer game where you pay €70 for. Take a hike, really.
Yeah. What do you make? What do you make of it then, Gaz? You've said a
Sorry,
bit
I was
of
getting
this.
distracted by Elden Ring. Elden Ring looks mad, man. Oh shit! Look at this game. Sorry. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to cut. $70 is too much, not because of this whole concept. It's multiplayer only. Why do single player only games get so much? Like, why do people accept? Like, Miles Morales was what, £50 or something, right? And that was what, 15 to 20 hours. Multiplayer games can net you or have net me more playtime than any single player game that I've played, and that notion needs to go away. But it's
January 21st, 2022.
Yeah, you're in 2021, and you've got other games that are giving you, like, they don't cost, like Apex Legends, for instance, is free to play, and then it's got a battle pass. This game's got a battle pass. It's got 7 maps. 7 maps, you say that, but Battlefield maps are insane. Like, those 7 maps crap on Call of Duty's 20 maps, man. Like, and there's just not based on scale and everything. But I was going to say, look, the fact that they introduced the campaigns in the later games kind of takes away my argument, in the sense that just because Battlefield as DNA is multiplayer only, you introduce those campaigns in later on, so it's harder to justify. but it's definitely compounded with the fact that other games in the space are not charging you £70. Like Halo Infinite is going to make the multiplayer for free, for God's sake, and it's going to have a proper campaign as well, and it doesn't have a battle pass as far as I'm aware. It's just, it doesn't operate in a vacuum. So how, Battlefield better pray their game is amazing if they're going to charge you 70 quid on top of a battle pass. That to me is taking the mick, and you've taken a feature out, even though it's a lackluster campaign in my opinion, typically anyway. So
it's still a feature removal regardless, isn't it?
I see a world premiere.
World premiere. Colt Eastwood is back in the room.
Colt in the house. Colt's been in the chat for ages.
How are you doing? No, he's not just in the chat. He's on screen.
He's in the show.
Going to kick your ass, Gaz.
He looks like he was getting ready to look up and do that. Oh, I didn't see you there. Hello.
How you doing,
brother?
I'm doing really good and super busy.
It's your webcam, by the way, your webcam audio.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. It will be fixed in 2 seconds.
Commence great audio.
Yeah,
There's that
there
work?
it is.
Much better.
I'm wet now.
You're on par with Chris Grannell now.
Oh, I wish. I wish. So, Elden Ring. It looks like Sekiro. Shadows Die
It
Twice.
does. That's what I was trying to say. The color palette reminded me of Sekiro. Yeah.
It doesn't look like Demon's Souls, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
everybody's excited.
I thought some of the monsters did. It's kind of like an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Bloodborne kind of like
Yeah.
style. Yeah. It looks good, man. What do you think about that, Colt? Oh, I'm not the host. Shut up, Gaz. Who the hell are you?
Gaz is so used to running his own show.
He's taking over the show.
Makes my job a lot easier.
So sorry, guys. So sorry. I don't even try to shut up.
Eject him.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Colt is in, you go out, Gaz.
Yeah, no, it looks cool and everybody's excited. I don't play those games. I'm not good enough. Our good friend Randall Thor will play the heck out of it and break records.
In 3 seconds.
Yeah. But people are happy now. That's good. People need to be happy. Like I was going to say before you asked me to jump in, like people forget about multiplats. Like there's a ton of exclusives coming, like even for Xbox. But when you were talking about Back for Blood and all this stuff, there's all these multiplats that are just like filling out what we can't even afford. So people should be excited.
Yeah. Well, that's 100%. The thing. Like some people weren't excited, were they, Colt? Because shut up, Gaz. I'm not a host of this show, but I'm having a conversation. Oh my God, I'm so conflicted right now. Not say something, please. Take control.
But yeah, shout out to your chat, the people talking and people that are excited and the panel, everybody here that I know from the social media space and other shows. Like you guys are doing great things, and this is a great place to be.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's great to have you back on again, Colt. Even if it is for a short amount of time, it's brilliant to have you on. And first time you came on the show was the first time you used a camera.
It was. You were the first one. Yeah.
Really? Really?
Yeah, and it was like after that. I mean, thank you for the courage. Really.
After that, it went on, and you got a little bit more feedback, and a lot of people said, "We want to see you. We want to see your face more, Colt."
It was literally a world premiere.
Yeah, there you go.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
So what I want to hear then, because I know you know a lot of things that are going on anyway, and things that could potentially be told. But I want to know what your wildest expectations are for Xbox that we probably won't see, but you'd love to see. What's your wildest
for Sunday?
Yes.
I mean, my wildest predictions are a little bit grounded in reality, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think that they need to show something from Perfect Dark and Fable or Hellblade, like even if it's just an appearance, like, hey, we're doing this. Here's a little developer doc, or here's a quick fly through of some of the environments as they're built right now. Work in progress. We're excited to bring the game to you very soon, and when everything's ready to show you, it's been a really rough year. I think that's a great message, and that message is okay and totally accepted to say, we've had a difficult year and a half. We're trying to make games in a time when everyone's at home and they can't be in the studio and they can't be in mocap gear, but we are passionate, and this is what we have to show you right now. That's my wildest prediction.
Yeah. Sweet.
Nothing to
Sweet.
do with a 26 number, right?
Well, I mean, not much to predict there. I think we're going to hear something really soon. I don't it's like I'm hearing some information from like my usual sources, but like one of the sources I was talking to, they said it's all up to if Xbox was able to shoehorn it in the planned E3 pre-production that they did. You know, probably 3 weeks ago, they recorded the E3 production that we'll see on Sunday. So, like, could they edit it in and cut it and re-render and upload and prepare for stream? It's probably worth it. But, yeah, it's all up to how they do it, or if they just have to say it at the end. I don't know. So, stuff is definitely happening, I think. I'll say I think at the end.
I think. Yeah, you want to say I think because you know, but you just want to cover yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you hear things from people and you get confident about it, and stuff doesn't always happen, and stuff doesn't always come true like immediately, or it's something that we'll hear about later. Maybe it's something we hear about in 6 months, but yeah, I mean, it's cool stuff. Be excited.
It's very cool stuff.
Do you think we should get more excited than the previous E3s, Cole?
That is a good question.
I was pretty excited for last year, and honestly, I think they delivered quite a bit more than we expected. A lot of people expect to see more gameplay, but that just isn't. Xbox actually went on a limb. They said, we're going to show you stuff that's out further than we usually do. And that's why we saw Hellblade, Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark, and State of Decay. Like, I think they said Xbox gamers have been waiting for a while. They need to know now. So they went ahead and showed us concepts and sizzle trailers. And I'm okay with that, because I would rather them do that than say, I'm really excited about what we're going to show you the next E3.
Yeah, I see that. So what is it then? What did you make of the Battlefield? Because we have covered it just before you jumped on there. But what did you make of Battlefield's trailer? And,
I've been listening to the show. I mean, it's a cinematic trailer. It's more modern, or in the near future, which is something we were predicting too. No campaign. I like the campaigns. I know a lot of people think they aren't that great. I enjoy playing the campaigns.
Yeah.
And there's people that play more multiplayer. I enjoy the campaigns. So I just don't like that the big dogs are saying $70. That's the price. I don't like that. But will it come to Game Pass?
Oh, so
will it come to Game
as well?
That was like the rumor for a little bit, and I'm starting to think no, it won't come to Game Pass. And I thought we were going to see some major backlash from the community, like this is bullcrap, $70, no campaign, paid DLC and all this stuff. And I haven't seen a bunch of backlash, so I don't think that EA and DICE are going to get like some kickback where they start losing pre-orders. So if Xbox is saying, hey, we really want you to be in Game Pass day and date, right now EA and DICE are probably like, nah, I don't think we need to right now. So that's where I'm sitting.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And I think to Gaz's point before as well, with the kind of big kind of window, should we say, when that is launching along with Halo, it probably doesn't make too much sense either putting that in Game Pass as well as Halo Infinite for a multiplayer space, specifically with the fact that Halo's multiplayer is also free to play.
Yes.
It doesn't make much sense on that front. Gaz, what is your wildest E3 prediction?
My wildest E3 prediction?
Yes.
That's so weird. It's like, what am I supposed to say? The thing that I think is realistically going to happen, but it would be out there, right?
Yes. Let's go for that.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of people have been telling me, Colt, that not to expect a Hellblade or Fable on there, but I've almost written it off. But I'd love to see gameplay for something like Perfect Dark, because we saw that tweet right when that developer's kid was playing it.
True.
So it's in some kind of state where someone can hold a controller and play something. I know it's not massively wild because I like to.
So your wildest prediction is exactly the same prediction as Colt's. So it's like
Really?
I'm pretty sure Colt was just saying, "I'd love to
Perfect
see
Dark.
some Perfect Dark or something," and you've just
Oh,
said
really?
exactly the same.
Only in a different package. Yeah.
He's the tail end of my human centipede. No, I'm just kidding. Oh no, I'll be the tail end because I said it after him. But shit, that's up. But no, like
What's the human centipede?
You have a movie. Yeah?
just Google it and then Google.
I know what it is. Just explain it to everybody else.
Oh God, dear me.
Is
That's your wildest
Human
one is
Centipede
the
game.
Perfect Dark, then.
Human Centipede the game. Oh my God, that should be a PlayStation exclusive. So, no, I don't know. Yeah, that's Perfect Dark, man. There's like all I care about is the games, man. Like, and show me the games. You've got such good game, like these name titles. Like, people are a bit spoiled. Perfect Dark was on the dream list of people, right? And then it became announced. It's like, that's crazy. Just think about the notion of Perfect Dark coming back. So there's a lot of pressure with that game going well. I have no idea what's happening with Everwild, but that's a new IP. But Indiana Jones, because this game that I'm watching right now on your stream reminded me of that.
Looks like Dollar Store Indiana Jones, but yeah.
It's a budget Indiana Jones first person.
Is that a grappling whip?
Asa's the guy who he's a man of few words, but when he does speak, he ends the conversation. Not because he just kills it, but he's a man of definitive statements. I go by Asa. Asa's like, he's not Killjoy. You're not Killjoy, Asa, but
Thanks, guys.
you're grounded in reality. What Asa says a lot, and tends to happen. So
this is definitely not going to happen because the whole topic is like wild speculation. So this is definitely not going to happen. But do you remember? I can't remember what event it was, but Sony had a big event for like one of their PlayStations, and this is when Sony and Microsoft were at their most petty, and Xbox like steered a ferry past with a big Xbox banner.
Yeah,
disrupt it. So my wild prediction is that during Xbox E3, someone at Sony that remembers that is going to drive a lorry through the wall and say, "Hey, everybody, PlayStation's at E3. We don't hate our fans. Let's go," and put on their own show.
Put on their own show.
Is that wild enough? Is that unlikely
That is
enough?
pretty wild. That'd be like proper. Can you imagine? It's just like Vince McMahon just busts up in the stage, and just like Stone Cold, and the music comes in. That would be cool because that was the Xbox 360 time, wasn't it?
It was around then, yeah, when they were real tit-for-tat on social media and arguing and all the rest of it.
I love that time. I love the source. Yeah. I love that. Sean Labrie misses the flute, brother. PlayStation are being more reactive. No, what Dutch? Like, don't you think like they'll do something? No one talks about PlayStation. That's a good point.
Yeah, they very much closed. Well, look, they're closed lips. They don't want to say anything, and I think they do have a lot to show. They've obviously got a lot in the midst, but when or how they're going to show what they're going to show is news to anybody. But it has kind of been shown right up until now that anything that Xbox have going on or PlayStation have going on is very much still speculation because there has been no leaks so far. This is not very unlikely for what we normally have. We've normally had something leak. Obviously we had the infamous Series S leak that Xbox had to shoulder then.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, absolutely. I expect them to show something, but it'll be very much a last minute announcement. If anything, they'll just be like, right, next week, this is our showcase.
I think we're gonna see the mini fridge being announced.
Oh, that's your wildest expectation.
Yes,
wildest dream.
I will buy the shit out of that.
Hell yes.
It's so small. It's like I don't know if you can. My camera's not caught up, but yeah, I mean it's like I'm not sure. It's not very big. Like you can fit like 3 cans of soda in it. How much do you think this thing is?
Mm.
I'm trying to get
Cool.
both hands
Do-
on camera, but I
100?
can't.
Cool. Do you want the fridge that I Justine got then, the bigger one?
Oh yes, yes I do. Yeah.
But yeah, how much do you want to pay for such a mini fridge, man?
Well, I've got a
would-
mini fridge in here that goes up to like my ribs,
Yeah.
as far as tall, and it's like 1.5 wide or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I can fill it full of stuff. And this one, I just won it just because it's like an Xbox Series X thing. So
Yeah.
I don't really know if I'll even plug it in. But how much do you guys think this thing costs?
100?
Yeah.
100, yeah, 100, 150.
150, 149. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
pay for
one-
that.
What you need is like a PlayStation 5 fridge. Then you can get your stuff in there.
You wouldn't get it through the
That's not a
door,
mini
but you'd get
fridge.
it, you'd get it in there.
Yeah, but you have those
2 liter
you have,
bottles in there.
you have those Red Bull mini fridges as well, right? You can put a couple cans in it, so I expect it to be something like that. But do you got because they sent out already some influencers some mini fridges already, right?
Mhm.
Do you got one already then, Colt? Such a mini one a couple weeks or months ago. They sent it
Salt
already.
in his wounds, man.
Yeah, I'm not cool enough to get the
No. What the hell?
Zoa mini fridge. Yeah.
You
What
heard it
happened,
directly
Colt?
from Dave Prian, one of the engineers at Xbox there, that there will be chip shortages. Put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he means chips as in crisp for the European market.
Crisp, yeah, crisp shortage, yeah. Oh man, I am learning the lingo, talking to Asa and Gaz all the time, learning the lingo outside of America. Crisp.
The lingo difference is wild. I
love it.
Biscuits, for instance, biscuits aren't biscuits over here. It's not.
Yeah,
the
I
same
know,
thing.
I know.
Biscuits
Biscuits
are
aren't
scones.
biscuits over here.
I know all of the different food, nomenclature, and then because of Gaz, I know some of the really inappropriate nomenclature.
Yeah, I would expect Gaz to tell you all that.
Yeah. A lot of Jamaican patois, funnily enough, which is quite prevalent in London.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Erwin, what would you say then your most wildest dream is, other than a mini fridge?
Oh, man, I wanting to see instead of Forza Horizon 5, Project Gotham Racing 5, man, that would be an absolute fucking dream. Sorry for my French. But yeah, I just love the PGR series, man. I love Horizon, but somehow I really like them to go back to Project Gotham Racing, man. It's always so good. But that's really wild. And then, yeah, man, I'm still to this day, not that I think about it daily or something like that, but how cool would it be to have a Rise 2, a Rise Son of Rome 2 or Rise Again or whatever, that type of game, they already have such a good basis or base on that game. They just need to improve a couple things to have an awesome game. So that would be pretty sick. Yeah, and what else? Yeah, I would just like to see Hellblade 2 gameplay, like 5 minutes or something. The game is already pretty long in development. They need to have something like that. I'm really looking forward. And yeah, I mentioned it already on the previous podcast. The trailer that they made, and that is on YouTube, I think I listed it 30 times already, something like that. The trailer from Hellblade 2 when they announced the Series X and also Hellblade, man. That bloody trailer was so sick. I think if I listen it again, I get pumped up and hyped again. So I would really like to see something like that, right? But yeah, besides that, like I said, I really have low expectations, and I hope to be blown away. So yeah, that's the wildest thing, man.
Project Gotham is such a good show. I think you have the best answer there because I forgot about Project Gotham, man. And if that comes,
sure. I lose my shit. Yeah.
That could be such a graphical powerhouse because the game is more restrictive in design, like almost like Drive Club was.
Yes, exactly. It's like a track based, right? So it's not like the open world that like Horizon is. So you have more a closed down track like, and with all those beautiful cities around the world, they can do awesome stuff. And they already had motorcycles as well, right? In part 4. So that's why I think also Horizon need to expand a little bit, not only cars, but do something else as well. Because the Horizon series, how great it is and how good it is, I think they need to innovate a lot. in 5.
Yeah.
So let's hope they do something with it. Then I will be probably being in love again. But my wildest thing would be Project Gotham, man. Bizarre Creations back in the day. Wow, that was good.
Who would develop it though? Were you saying Playground would do it, or?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Because obviously
If you
the,
Playground
Tennis-
developing
most
my
of the X Bazaar guys are Lucid now, aren't they? So
yeah,
they could do it. They could do it as a third-party studio for them.
Yeah,
yeah,
could definitely get a third party doing it.
yeah, 100%.
You never know for the future with big dreams.
Yeah, and you always saw that in the previous Forza Motorsport that it always has some city tracks also in it.
Yeah.
Like with Forza Motorsport 2 as well. I don't know, was it in New York or something like that track? So you always have some references back to Project Gotham Racing. So who knows with the next Forza Motorsport that hopefully releases next year. That has something to come back to, but let's see.
Wow.
I love how much you're
is
trying to like skirt around Forza Motorsport these days.
yeah, I don't want to talk about. I cannot say anything if I played or not because I didn't, and if I did, I cannot say because of NDA. So let's skip to
You
the
may as well just,
let's skip to the next
say
topic.
anything
Yeah.
instead of saying that stuff.
let's skip to the next topic, please.
What about my wildest prediction?
Go on, Chris. What's your wildest prediction?
I reckon this year's Your Breathtaking is going to be Michael Ironside, and then he's going to announce that Splinter Cell's back.
Right.
in
Oh
some
man!
way, shape,
If
or form.
Cognito heard you say that, oh my
You've literally
God.
just stolen me. I had this all prepped ready for you.
You really?
Oh, look, he had his sound effect ready.
He had the sound effect.
I had the sound effect. I had this
Music
whole
video.
lights going down, and then hearing a dulcet tone of someone saying, "I'm in position, Grim," and then having a little "Dwee," and then Splinter Cell coming up, and you've just ruined it. Ruined it.
Drew, why didn't you brief us before the show better so we knew?
Brief. I think his avatar gives it away. You could quite tell, but I mean, obviously, you've been taken back by the news that rumors of a collaboration between Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell. It's kind of your worst nightmare, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah, let's not go there. It's what Ubisoft are doing. I don't get them. I don't get Ubisoft because it's such a good franchise, and it's not like it's a niche thing. It's like it is a beloved franchise, and they just seem to be quite happy to take a dump on it.
Would you even be inclined then to say if they at least remake or remaster fully one of their previous titles, would that suffice for the moment until they bring out a new title?
Oh yeah, if they did like a complete remake rather than just doing changing up to 4K. If they did what they did with what was the one what was the PlayStation launch? Not Dark Souls. Demon Souls. If they did something like that with like Chaos Theory, I would be over the moon. I'd love that. But they don't. They can't even grant me that. They've reduced my beloved Sam to a mobile game. I mean, what am I supposed to do? It's heartbreaking.
Right.
I think they will eventually do it though, because there is a demand for it. If they keep churning out Assassin's Creed, then I'm sure they can get a real good Splinter Cell out. I think it's a question of when.
I was really convinced it was coming soon when they got Michael Ironside back for the Ghost Recon kind of DLC stuff that they did.
Yeah.
I was convinced. I thought, this is it. It's going to happen. I can't believe it. They've got Michael Ironside back. Of course it's going to happen. And then, no.
They couldn't afford them. Could only afford a few lines.
Yeah.
Cole, do you ever see it coming back?
No. I don't. I don't know what. I don't know what in the heck. I don't know what in the heck they're doing. Like they know everybody wants it, and they're not talking about it. So,
they'll do everything but make an actual Splinter Cell game. They'll put him everywhere, just not on his own game.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know which is worse. I don't know which is worse. Like they'll put Sam Fisher in DLC for like Ghost Recon, or they'll continue to make these games that are Tom Clancy titles that haven't done very well. Like Ghost Recon Breakpoint wasn't. Wildlands was okay, and then Breakpoint was just not good. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. one of my wildest predictions with that is that Xbox just steps in and says, "Look, sell us the Splinter Cell name. We'll take care of it. You guys obviously aren't doing anything with it." The next thing they're making is Skull and Bones, and Ubisoft makes some incredible stuff. They have their hands in all kinds of great franchises, but apparently Splinter Cell isn't one of them right now. People have been asking for like 10 years.
I mean, this is what Ubisoft just does to me. Oh,
Yeah.
No, my wildest prediction would be that they've actually bought Ubisoft Montreal and the license to Splinter Cell.
Oh, geez, that would be like $70 billion. Yeah,
Yeah. That'd be a lot of money.
they're
man.
huge. They're so huge.
I mean, even bloody, what's it called? What's that game called that got bought for 30 billion something? What the hell was that game? I can't
Roblox
believe
wasn't
it.
bought.
Oh, that's
Roblox
space
is
game.
valued at
Duke Nukem?
I was valued at. No. What was it, Asa?
Roblox was valued at like 43 billion or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's ridiculous.
it's unobtainable now, isn't it, for people? It's so valuable.
Ridiculous.
Why? I don't get it.
I mean, that's why you've got to kind of just smile at how much. I mean, everyone probably laughed and sniggered at how much Microsoft originally paying for Minecraft, but that's already well paid for itself years ago.
Yeah.
That was like, what was that at the time? Was that several billion? Was that not?
2 point something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like 1.2 billion. It was quite cheap considering, in retrospect, actually.
Yeah, it was like over 250 million sales so far.
And it's still
Yeah.
the top selling on PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still the
Cool.
top selling on most platforms, to be fair. I think
Yeah.
Switches, it's also still top there, and of course they've got mobile, but it's just nuts. But that's why obviously everyone that looked at Roblox kind of missed out, because that thing has already got to the point where it's unobtainable. Whereas
Yeah.
Microsoft managed to catch Minecraft right at the crest where it was just starting to really peak. So
And at a point where Notch was fed up of it, so he wanted rid of it anyway.
yeah.
Doesn't know what to do with all of his money.
Oh god, I know.
Just
But
swims in it.
Scrooge McDuck, isn't
Like Scrooge McDuck, just swims in money.
Dear me.
Well, I've been watching this show, not the show, the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
There's been nothing compelling. Well, obviously, I'm not hearing it audio.
Elden
but
Ring, and that's it. Yeah.
That's it, right? Like, we didn't actually miss much.
Death Stranding director's
No.
cut.
Shut your ass, Colt.
You mean PC version on PlayStation?
Yeah.
What did you
Splinter
make
Cell
of
was
that,
on
Colt?
as well. That's coming back.
Just don't.
Now there's a
It's-
plasticine game. Actually, it's kind of cool, but yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, it's to be fair, I didn't go in, and I'm sure a lot of people were the same, but didn't go into Summer Games Fest expecting mammoth announcements on this stream. It's a good little warm up, I suppose. But I wasn't expecting. We all expected Elden Ring at some point, and Elden Ring did look terrific. I'm very
It
interested.
looked
to see more of that.
last gen though, didn't it? I don't want to be
That's a good point.
controversial, but it looked last gen, that's for sure.
It looked like Sekiro. Yeah, just slightly
Yeah.
different to me. That's why I said Demon Souls. Like Demon Souls looks really, really. I mean, I'm not into those games at all, but Demon Souls looks really, really nice. And this one, but people are super excited about it, so I can't take that away from whatsoever.
No, most definitely. And as long as the gameplay in the game is there itself, it'll
will
do
be.
well.
Yeah.
Exactly. It'll do very well. And I'm
When
very
does
much...
sorry, mate. No, I was going to say, when does the show end? Because I've not seen anything which would have made Jeff Keighley's super surprised face. So that's for
Did
sure.
it take 90 minutes?
Yeah, he said 90
Yeah,
minutes. I mean, we've been going 2 hours now, so I don't know when that 90 minutes is.
He
Yeah.
posted something
But
this
his-
afternoon, didn't he? Go, and this is my reaction to something like in
Yeah,
the show.
It was definitely from the moment that he got on the video call with Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, it was just that. It was from the point where Kojima said, "Well, I'm currently vaccinating." Oh.
Yeah, that was a strange allude, of course. I expected Kojima to talk more about the new IP he's done, but he was just kind of very vague. He was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about things, and
I think
we're
someone
looking at things."
tried to link it on Twitter and say I can't remember who it was, sorry, but someone was saying that he was talking about like a new world and a new direction and stuff, and that was a hint at him moving over to Xbox. Someone was saying on Twitter, but probably just a hint that he wasn't going to be at Jeff's house for the summer because of the pandemic or something.
Well,
go on without me.
Jeff Grubb's gone on Twitter, says, can we talk about why Elden Ring was here, not on the Xbox showcase? I just know that Bandai Namco turned down a deal to put this trailer into the Xbox showcase. And I know it was not because of everything in the Xbox showcase's Game Pass, to answer a common question. Like,
Xbox has marketing with Elden Ring, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It had like every platform at the end, wasn't it? So it's definitely a multi-plat game.
Fair. If you're Namco though, and you're looking at what's in the Xbox showcase and what's in the Summer Game Fest, you're probably going to get more attention going today.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, they're never going to go up against Michael Ironside on Sunday. That's for sure.
Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher coming to Smash Brothers.
That could actually happen.
Yeah, that could actually happen.
He's coming to Fortnite. That's what it is. He's coming to Fortnite.
I reckon Shom will just be like, "Is Shom gone?"
Shom's
yeah. He's pissed off.
Oh my god, we've destroyed him.
That was too much.
He's done.
That was just too much.
I do like that. I do like the way he's back. I was going to say.
I went to block you on Twitter and pressed the wrong button. I've had enough.
I've had enough. Too much Splinter Cell for one day.
His great ancestor will turn up in Valhalla. That's how much still milk Sam Fisher.
Oh my god!
It'll just be a skeleton with night vision goggles on.
His night vision goggles will just be like jade jewels and not actually anything.
Oh man! We say what's it called? Splinter Cell's not been MIA, but what about bloody a bigger game than Splinter Cell, in my opinion? And that's beyond.
Excuse me.
I instantly regretted those words as they came out of my mouth.
An equally as large game as a popular game.
Comparable. Equally as large and relevant. Okay, well, maybe not. But Beyond Good and Evil 2, that game we haven't seen in a very long time. And
that's been AWOL.
And that game engine looks like it looked amazing. And it looked like it was too good to be true. You know, they zoomed out of the ship and came out the planet, and then they showed the other planet, and it's like, what's happened with that? And are you assuming it's dead now? Like, that's not happening anymore?
I don't know. Did you expect to see it at Ubisoft's conference?
I don't know anymore.
I reckon it's still around, but you could definitely achieve what they were trying to do more now, couldn't you, than yesterday? Yeah. The engine looked amazing, and it was very kind of Fifth Element and zooming into the city and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to see it. But
my conspiracy theory is it's just vaporware. It's never going to be made. They just made that whole thing just to shut people up from asking them about it every year.
It was just like a tech demo.
Don't go away.
Colt has to go.
I have to actually literally run. I'm going to go get some exercise.
Muchos work before this weekend.
I've been like the past 26 days. I've been doing nothing but sitting on this couch behind me playing Mass Effect Trilogy. Like,
so this number just keeps recurring.
Eating crisp and playing Mass Effect Trilogy and telling Gaz, oh my gosh, this game is so great. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll be on again. I told WandrinDutch, he asked me about a week ago. I said, I'm like, it's crazy for E3 week. We'll talk after that settles down. I'm actually hearing the same thing when I try to get people on my show. I know everyone's super busy, so thanks for taking the time to have me on. You guys are all awesome. Chat's awesome.
No worries, man.
Check out everybody's channels here. I know GameOnDaily is doing a show this weekend. Randall Thor's doing a show as well. I'm doing one on Monday. Like, celebrate games, guys. It's going to be awesome.
It's hard to catch up, but
Peace.
That's been awesome.
Right, see you later, guys.
Very much for jumping in, buddy. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good luck with your new direction as well.
No, it's absolutely
Well,
awesome.
that number again, Drew. You were right, weren't you? 26 days.
26 keeps just mentioning 26.
Keeps mentioning 26. He had 26 crisp in his bag. He said 26
Yeah, 26
individual chips.
Went for a 26-mile run. He's played Mass Effect for 26 days.
I'm glad the camera zoomed in after my hay fever subsided. Oh my god, I was a mess at the
You were
start.
dying.
I was such a mess. But yeah, nice. Yeah.
It's going to be like that film for Colt. What is it? Is it? It's like 7 or 21 or something, where that guy just sees that number everywhere. It's 26 everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I've obviously, as you can tell, I've just removed that Games Fest thing off the screen because it started to get into developer talks and things like that. We've seen that. So whatever the moment was probably just Elden Ring.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah.
How long is this show anyway? Is it like 6 hours again?
No, it's supposed to be 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Yeah, it was 90 minutes, but he's straight into a developer talk without kind of any interlude.
Okay.
So unlike Nintendo, who have said we're doing 40 minutes and then a 3-hour gameplay breakdown, he's just going straight into developer talk straight after a show, with no gaps, no breaks, just straight in. So, never mind. But the eve is upon us for E3. We're eventually getting into that moment where we can see exactly what Microsoft has to offer and whether or not any of these rumors, guesses, hopes and dreams are actually going to come to fruition. And let's hope they actually blow us away, because at the end of the day, I think we've all got realistic expectations for what we see, but we also want to be surprised. Yeah. It's been absolutely awesome to have both Gaz and Asa on this week. An absolute pleasure. And I will give you, the guests, the first outros. So first of all, Gaz, thanks for bearing with us with your hay fever when you first joined. But it's been awesome having you on, brother. If you let people know where you can find yourself and what you've got coming up over the next few days.
So we've thank you so much for having me, man. I'm sorry I have to quit switching the camera off as I blew my nose and mute myself. You didn't want to hear that. I want to med up hard for our show because the sun's out. It's killing, but it's good. But you can find us at GameOnDaily.com, which is a platform for content creators. So put your show up there. Everyone can put their shows up there, submit their content, write their own articles. Just empowering, taking power away from IGN. No, not from IGN. We submit IGN
we appreciate that as well.
Yeah. No, you can submit IGN stuff on there as well, but you can submit everyone's content. You may create your own content. So it's really kind of shift the power away from the big organizations and spread it to us guys, like the smaller guys, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. We've got a great show this weekend, though. We've got breaking the no camera rule only for this one guy because he helped us from day one. It's Dealer Gaming and Colt are going to be on the Saturday.
Awesome.
So that'll be good.
Yes,
that'll be good.
we need to someday get that exclusive, that world premiere of Dealer's Face.
Man,
I think we need
to hack him
at some point.
Oh, he's not doing it. Well, I had this whole argument with him yesterday where he destroyed me. He's not doing it.
Why not? Is it because of work or what is it?
No, he just generally doesn't understand why everyone wants to see his face because I just don't want to do it. And he's like, I'm like, but I want to see it. But he's like,
yeah,
and I know what he looks like. It's not like he looks like a leper or something.
Make a poll on Twitter.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm not gonna put it on Twitter. Kill me. But if you like, he's an attractive guy. This guy looks like. He's built like Thanos, man. This guy lifts weights. It's like to me, he looks exactly how I imagined he would, kind of, not a skeleton. So, but that's why I'm saying just put it out there. Just go and show it. But he won't do it. He will never do it. I found out the hard way yesterday. He berated.
He wants us to be anonymous, doesn't he? He wants his everyday life not to kind of interfere with his online life. So. And that's his choice, isn't it? I know what you're saying, Gaz. He's a good-looking chap that would grace anyone's camera, but he wants to be that kind of elusive. Yeah. He can walk down the street without being mobbed, unlike you, Gaz. I'm sure you get jumped on every time you're in the street.
Oh yeah, but not for you're on that
for the source reason
show on YouTube. It's more like People just punch me because I have a punchable face. But no, no. He likes his privacy. He's that kind of guy. He reminds me of Red Foreman when you talk to him on Potty Chat. He's like from that 70s show. He's really old school. He's cool, man. But he doesn't want to.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Hey, Isla Drummond says get a dealer
VTuber avatar.
That is a very good idea, actually.
Yeah, that could be one way to get around it.
Yeah,
A Japanese VTuber.
yeah. Brilliant. But yeah, sorry, that was a long intro. Yeah, man, thank you so much for having us, man. And I'll defer to my other cohort, the silent one.
Silent one. Silent but deadly. Yeah.
But deadly, absolutely. He's just like flatulence Asa.
Deep waters.
Yeah, just like awesome to have you as well, Asa. Awesome to have you.
Thanks. And yeah, you can find me in mostly the same places as Gaz. Obviously, GameOnDaily, we're there all the time. We've got our YouTube channel where we do our main show on the Saturday, and I've got my own YouTube channel where I play games and stream them pretty much every day at a higher quality than anything that you'll see at E3. All of these AAA producers and their 1080p compression. So yeah, that's Asa_GameOnDaily, and I'm there pretty much every day. Possibly not during E3, but that's about it. And thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's been a very good time. Very good time. We'll definitely have to get you back on again in the future. It'd be absolutely awesome. CJ Grannell, Mr. Chris himself, if you let people know where they can find you, brother, and what you're going to be doing this weekend.
Usual places. I'm going to be on this show again this weekend.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. Massive thank you to Asa and Gaz. Obviously, always good to chat to you guys. Obviously, very knowledgeable people. Joe should listen to you guys when you talk and stuff, because there's a decent intelligence and stuff behind it. So appreciate you guys being on. It's always good to share the floor with you guys. And you can catch me on Twitter, CJ Grannell, and on Xbox, etc. Hard Times UK.
Awesome stuff. Next up, Mr. Forza Erwin himself. Let people know what you've got coming up, brother, and what you've got planned.
Well, first of all, thanks to the wonderful guys, the guests on the show, Gaz and Asa. It was really nice to meet you guys. Good chatting with you. Also, Colt, thanks for having joining the show a little bit, and also the awesome chat, which was really nice. People can find me on Twitter on Forza Erwin. I refueled my YouTube channel since a couple weeks now. It's called Racing from Home, so please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Mainly about racing, if you liked it, so better tune in. I'm gonna watch some soccer, man, over the weekend, or football, because there's the European Cup that is playing, right? Yes. And the Netherlands needs to play on Sunday evening, actually after E3, so it will be a packed evening, because I will be on the show on the Midweek Mix-Up podcast as well with all the lovely chaps here in the panel, but definitely also going to watch some soccer afterwards. So I'm not expecting a lot from the Netherlands because we suck. Probably we're gonna be out in round one, but let's see how far we can get. Fingers crossed. But I'm gonna do some racing, gonna make some YouTube videos for my channel, and that's about it, I think.
Awesome stuff. Next up, Shomberlon, brother, if you let people know what you've got coming up and what you're going to be playing.
No idea what I'm playing at the moment. My backlog is absolutely ridiculous. I downloaded a couple of Game Pass games as well earlier. I can't remember the name of them. I just kind of like, they're on Game Pass. Let's give that a go.
You'll have a few more out of that come the end of the weekend.
But yeah, I'll be back on Sunday. Are we doing anything for Ubisoft or?
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll happily jump in for Ubisoft a bit as well if anybody wants to join. I don't mind. That might be interesting.
Yeah, so
that'll be a much
Ubisoft.
shorter stream.
Yeah, possibly Ubisoft, definitely the Xbox, and yeah, that's about it.
Sweet, awesome stuff. And where can people find you, Sean?
You can find me on Twitter and Xbox under Shomberlon, and you'll find me crying in the corner after E3 because Sam Fisher won't be there.
You will be there. You'll be there.
Just rocking back and forwards.
I've got a show for you, Sean.
Why, Sam? Why?
Awesome stuff. Last but not least, Patcha, if you let people know what you've got coming up, brother, and where they can find you.
Well, people can find me on Twitter, Xbox, and Twitch. And Also, this Sunday I'll be joining the panel members for the E3 showcase. So looking forward to it. This weekend I'm planning to stream some PUBG since the new update is out. So make sure to stop by and join the chat. So and also like Erwin says, football is coming up. So Sunday is gonna be a packed night. Gonna watch some losers playing football.
We've got an okay group compared to most. I mean, let's face it, guys. It's not the worst. The Netherlands could be the worst.
It can be better.
The manager is not good.
No, exactly. So let's we're gonna see what's gonna happen, because if they lose Sunday, then probably will be nothing.
That's it.
Yeah.
My expectations on the soccer team and the national team are even lower than the E3 from Xbox. So. But no, I think the manager is not good, man. It's Frank de Boer. We had Ronald Koeman, who's now the manager of Barcelona for a year. He was absolutely awesome. We had a fantastic team. Also, Virgil van Dijk. Chris Grannell knows him from Liverpool, right? Virgil van Dijk. He's injured also. The team is not there, man. And also, we have 70 million managers also in the Netherlands. So we're always quite pessimistic.
And also, I want to thank Gaz and Asa for coming out and join the show. And also the guys in the chat, of course. Thank you guys for being here. And man.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely awesome chat.
Subscribe and share, guys. So
definitely. Yeah, thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. It's been an absolute blast. And of course, managing to get not only these two fine gentlemen on, but ended up getting Colt on for a short period. We had David Prien, who, if you don't know, is one of the lead design architects for Xbox Series consoles in the chat there earlier, as well as kind of a few other household names there. Sean Labrie, of course, our awesome artist for the channel, and many others from the community. It's been awesome, and thank you all for tuning in. Of course, you can find us again on Sunday live I'm going to be jumping on from 5 p.m. Of course, my panel members will be jumping in a little bit later on as the closer we get to the live show. But we'll be kind of drumming up our final pre-show predictions there, as well as then tuning in and giving our live reactions to the showcase. So hope to see you all there. It's been a pleasure again having these fine gentlemen on. Thank you to the chat. And we'll see you all again see you all again Sunday. I don't even have to say next week this time.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Well,
goodbye, guys.
Cheers.
There you are. Wondering what's going on, eh? One question first. Are you feeling anything that can be construed as explosive cell death? No? Wonderful. Let's get started.
Got my number figured out. A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't lock me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't lock me I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader. I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer. I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the tide. I'd rather be a dreamer.